Dina Fincher is going to be the witness. Everybody else is the same, we just don't need Mr. Moore anymore.
How would you spell Dina?
D-E-E-N-A.
Okay, so I'm Mr. First, the witness, Dina Fincher.
You said F-E-N-C-H-E-R?
F-I-N-C-H-E-R.
Is Cortez Harris C-O-R-T-E-Z-H-A-R?
T-E-Z, Harris.
H-A-R-R-I-S.
Yes. Hold on one second.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to proceed now. Mr. First, whenever you're ready.
We call Dina Fincher.
If you will come on up here to the witness stand. Amy? Madam Reporter, would you swear the witness in, please?
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Amy? You also need to raise your
You know, I thought I did that last week and you were motioning me not to do that. So I was confused.
No, it must be something else. No, the one who's swearing also raise your hand.
Good morning, ma'am. Tell the jury your name, please, and where you work.
My name is Dina Fincher.
And where do you work?
I work for the Cobb County Magistrate Court.
How long have you worked there in Cobb Magistrate Court now?
About 9 weeks.
What are you doing over there currently?
I'm the court administrator there.
So that means what? What do you do on a day-to-day basis for people who don't know what a court administrator does?
Basically, I supervise all the staff members in the warrant division and civil division and the criminal division, and I handle the budget for the office.
Prior to coming to magistrate court, what were you doing and where were you working?
I worked for the Cobb County Sheriff's Office.
And how long did you work with them and what was your position there?
I was the open records custodian, and I was employed there about 12 and a half years.
Was one of your duties with the Cobb Sheriff's Office being in charge of the jail recordings from inmates at the Cobb County Jail?
Yes, sir.
Explain to the jury how it is that people who are inmates at the Cobb County Jail, if they make a call, are they always recorded? And how are they recorded? And whether they, the inmate, knows that they are being recorded. Can you just explain that for the jury?
Sure. The inmates' phone calls from the jail are always recorded. There are 3 ways that the inmates are told that their phone calls are going to be recorded. The first is in their inmate handbook that they receive when they come into the jail. The other one is it's posted in all of the pods. And then when they make a phone call, it tells the inmate that the phone call is going to be recorded, and then it repeats itself every 5 minutes.
What was the system that was in use during the time that you were working there? Does it have a name as far as the recording system? Not particularly?
I always knew it as the inmate phone system. I'm sure there is a vendor name to it, but it escapes me at this point. But it is a DVR that is somewhere. and we pull the phone calls off a web browser, and then we're able to download them.
So you're able to go back and retrieve certain calls if you're asked to. Is that right?
Right. The calls are saved for 90 days.
And then when a person is incarcerated in the Cobb County Jail, are they given a unique number and SOID, Sheriff's Office Identification Number?
They are.
I'm going to show you a book-in report on a Cortez Harris, date of birth June 16, 87, and ask if you can tell us, is that from the Sheriff's Office? Is that a book-in info from the Sheriff's Office here in Cobb?
It is.
And does that show the SOID number of this Cortez Harris person?
Yes, it does.
And what is his SOID?
918390.
So if he gets arrested again, will that continue to be his SOID every time he may come into the Cobb County Jail?
Yes, sir.
So back in May of 2014, if a detective wanted to get some jail calls, some recordings of jail calls on a particular inmate, would it be normal that they would call you or contact you to get those?
Yes.
And I put in front of you States Exhibit 15 and 16. Can you identify those two, starting with 15?
Yes, these are both inmate phone call discs that were made by our office.
Have you actually had a chance to review those discs before today and actually go in and listen and review them and so forth?
Yes, I did on Monday.
How can you tell that those are the discs that you actually reviewed on Monday?
Well, my signature is on here, and I remember seeing them doing them.
You actually put your initials, your signature on there?
Yes, I did.
So those particular calls, let's start with States Exhibit 15. From what date period and what person or inmate are we talking about do those calls pertain to?
Mr. Harris from 5/16 of 14 to 5/19 of 14.
So that's States Exhibit 15, May 16th to 19th for Cortez Harris.
Correct.
And then what's States Exhibit 16? Who does it apply to and what's the time period?
Mr. Harris. And the phone calls are from May 20th of 14 to May 23rd of 14.
And let me go ahead and get those from you if I may. So the recording system that y'all have over there, you're obviously quite familiar with it. Is that correct?
Yes.
From your knowledge, does it accurately record the audio on these conversations, these phone conversations?
Yes.
I'm going to put in, I'm not going to play any of the audio yet, but I will put in States Exhibit 15 just to take a look at the spreadsheet. So as we look up here, at the very top right, it says there is 125 records. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what does that mean? Is there 125 actual audio recordings?
Yes.
All right. So starting over here on the left, inmate ID, that's the SOID that we're talking about,
Correct.
and that has 3 zeros in front of it. But the 918390, that's Cortez Harris's SOID at the sheriff's office, correct?
Yes.
And then it's got his name. And then what is this start date? Explain what that signifies.
That's when the phone call was made and the time. So the start date when I entered the date and the time frame.
So in other words, that phone call started recording on May 16th, 2014 at 13:45, meaning 1:45 p.m.
Right.
And how long was the duration? What does that mean?
That's how many minutes the phone call lasted.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, we'll take a brief recess before we get into cross.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Amy, I remember last week, I was, mostly because you were sitting down. That's what it was.
No,